What is up, everyone? Welcome back to another Epicverse live stream. It is awesome being here with all of you guys. It's great to see you all in the chat already. We already have 100 people watching, ready to go, and waiting to see the man himself, Ripa. So it's great having the man himself, the legend. I don't know what he did, but he did something this past week that was, kind of a big deal from what I hear. So, it might have shook up the internet a little bit, so we'll be getting into all of that. But it's great having you here, Ripa. Thank you for being here with us.
Of course, man. This is been a crazy week so far. And I'm just kind of scrambling, working, man. And I appreciate everybody's support.
Absolutely.
I just don't know what the fuck's going on. It's just kind of just happening right now.
It's probably a little surreal.
The train keeps on going as well. It's like every day I see a new target has been smashed through. It's got no brakes.
I don't know what the hell is going on, man.
Yeah, man. Awesome, dude. It's so awesome to see. And we'll be obviously getting into all of that today because there's a lot to talk about with that. You have a lot of eyes on you.
Yep.
And we'll be getting into all of that. So it's awesome. You passed $2 million, and
he disappeared on us. He just left.
He's like, that's it.
He's like, cool, man.
And he's like, no, I'm 2 big feet out.
I ain't gonna hang out.
Tick over. No, just small fry.
I'm out.
See you later. I'm out, guys.
This is our chance to introduce Ben. Ben, hi. What's up, Ben? How you doing, buddy?
What's up? How's it going? I'm doing
man.
all right. I'm doing all right.
I'm glad. I'm super glad to hear that.
Yeah.
My bad.
Feeling great.
It's all good.
No, you're good. It just we were like, oh, he's here. He's like, cool, deuces.
He's like, you guys have a 2-minute time slot, and I'm out. See ya.
I think you left just as someone said you broke $2 million. He's like, oh, that's too much now.
Oh, I didn't realize it was that big. I gotta go.
Oh, man.
A different league.
No, it's good having you here, man. So obviously we have with us as well. We have the regular hosts. We have Mike. How's it going, Mike?
Thanks for calling me regular. I appreciate it. I don't have $2.2 million to flash around.
One of the plebs.
You're not a millionaire, Mike.
I'm just one of those normal people, you know. I mean, no, I'm glad to be here, man. I was super excited. I cannot believe it. $2.2 million is a lot of fucking money. I mean, there's a lot of money, and like Ripa, like on his streams, is like, wow, $50, that's a lot of fucking money. That ain't $2.2 million. That's a lot of fucking money.
I can't even imagine how you feel right. Like that just must be so surreal, you know?
Yeah, it's just like I don't know how high the fucking numbers go to get, as interest continues to go up, and like I'm sitting here like looking at I'm looking more of like logistics and stuff. I'm like, all right, well, this is gonna be hella orders to pack. What getting ready for our process, kind of with that stuff is the biggest thing that I'm trying to do right now. And it's hard to explain like what it is. It's fucking nuts though. It's because I wasn't anticipating that. I wasn't barely anticipating, $1,000, you know what I mean? $100,000. It's like fucking hit $1 million and hit $2 million, and then I just don't know. I don't know what the fuck's going on. So all I have been doing, I just left the warehouse right before here, and I was doing shit, and we were kind of messing around with the warehouse and moving pallets and stuff around, unpacking stuff. It's just getting more and more real, and there's such a demand. So you can imagine for anybody that owns a business, just imagine your business just scaling up 100 times overnight.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And that's basically what happened here. So right now it's just a matter of trying to make the dollars make sense, and making logistics, making orders, getting products, trying to figure out how exactly we're going to do this. And that's pretty much been what this is. So it's been a great experience. So I can't say that for sure. It's been a great experience, and I'm just happy to be kind of where we're at.
Yeah, absolutely amazing. It's just amazing, man. And of course we have Benology with us as well. How's it going, Ben?
We already talked about Ben.
That's going good. I mean, nobody wants to talk about me. That's true.
I'm not That's true.
I mean, I'm just here to be.
Let's move on to Dispro then. Dispro, how's it going?
It's an intro. Oh,
God. All right.
he didn't even did a super chat for that one, but no, yeah, it's great to be on this, great to be on the stream, especially as Josiah is now upgraded from just starting the stream to giving us a 3-second countdown. I really appreciate that.
We're
I
really
know
moving
some
up in the
people,
world.
others are really impressed that Rippa's doing something which is sort of a big win for everyone to show what people can do in the future and sort of inspire other people to go forward and do things which they thought they probably couldn't. But I've just been more grateful for the fact that all week I've been able to see people on Twitter lose their minds and trying desperately to come up with arguments about why it's a bad thing and try everything in the most illogical argument. They can't decide whether it's because he's privileged, whether it's because he's actually oppressed by other people, or he's a puppet of someone else, or there's some great master plan which you've got strings all over different pictures, that all this has been planned out from the start and it's definitely going to fail because he isn't Marvel. And all because it's like, well, it's your first book, but it might not exist, even though he says it exists, but no, if it's not here in 6 months, then maybe he might have a second. It's like, conspiracy theorists are us, and none of it makes any sense. But laughing at them has been very funny.
The lack of logic that people have used in all of these arguments is unbelievable. Like, I've just seen some things online that I just shake my head at every day. I'm just like, what are you talking about? Like, where do you get these ideas from? And they genuinely, I think, just fabricate it because they are upset with someone else's success, and that's just, I mean, it's embarrassing.
Well, we only have like a couple things you can say about somebody to like really discredit them. You're either, racist, or you're sexist, or you're this Easter-isms. My favorite is that Ripa is the new blackface of white supremacy, because they're like, you know what? Hold on a second. And they're like, okay, what can I do with these parts? Okay, blackface is bad. White supremacy is bad. If we mix them together, there it is. I got it.
There it is. There it is.
Listen, man, everything that they can say, but it doesn't matter because it doesn't stop, and it won't stop. Listen,
I think that's what's so frustrating to them. It's like, yeah, none of this matters, that all these little dirty tricks that all these people are trying to kind of do right now, which is kind of what we're dealing with, is people saying whatever foul shit that they're gonna say, trying to discredit. We had that one guy delete his post because the fucking clown tried to say that basically I was cooking the books. Oh, well, he's not going through Kickstarter, Indiegogo. And I went on the back end and showed him exactly what the fuck the numbers look like.
Right.
You could be mad and want to like deny what is happening right now, but look at where that's coming from, and the fact that they would do that. Like, we know Disney Plus gasses their numbers and everybody accepts their word for fucking whatever they said. We got this many subscriptions and all that, and nobody can fucking vet it, but we supposed to take their word. But God forbid someone detached from the mainstream has a public. Why the fuck would I put a public counter up there to fabricate numbers? You know what I mean? What would be the point of doing that? Yep. And then when finding out that this is something that is legit, and finding out that there's this many people that have made purchase, they just don't know what to do, and they don't know how to act. So they're scrambling right now, trying to figure out which argument that they can apply to us. And none of it's sticking, because like I legit, and it's cool. I guess a cool feeling as I crossed into kind of this space again. I've been in various other creative projects, being back in the creative space, or the creative kind of driver's seat. It just makes me give a fuck less about them. You know what I mean? So when they say all this goofy shit, I'm like, who cares? We got a public number. Everybody can see what it is they were doing. If they want to sit up and bank on failure, if they want to sit up here and be all fucking mad trying to find out where they could try to get a victory, it doesn't matter, because they're still gonna lose. So that's been the great thing about being back in the creative seat, is that I just legit don't give a shit. There's so many people that they're at me and they're doing all this other goofy shit, and I'm like, I don't care, bro. Exactly. I legit don't fucking give a shit. Like, this is way bigger than me. This is the fact this is inspiring people to be out there, be great. That's an awesome thing. And for these fucking losers to just, I don't like him, or I don't like his politics, or I don't like him because of his politics, we need to try to demonize him for everything it is that he's doing. And it's like, that's fine, but you're a fucking loser for doing it. So
absolutely.
Absolutely.
But one of my favorite things, like you said this really early on, you're like, man, if I make $1 million, they're gonna be like, well, he didn't make 2 million. If I make 2 million, it'd be like he didn't make 3 million. But they're just gonna keep jumping. They got to keep jumping the number, and you keep reaching the numbers. Like,
Yeah.
what the fuck are
Yep.
you gonna say? You know, I mean,
Right.
yeah, man.
Yeah,
I-
they'll always move the goalpost every
Yeah.
time. So
but I love it because it's you're now we're not even talking like, wow, this is a pretty successful thing. Like, you're starting to hit numbers that people with power, people with pull, people in Hollywood streams and stuff don't even see numbers. I mentioned this to Josiah, and I saw somebody posted this. You actually already beat Keanu Reeves' Berserk comic, his Kickstarter. He made $1.4 million in 30 days. You did it in 4. You did it in 2, and then you made it past that in 4 days already.
Right.
And you still got 69 days left in the campaign.
Yeah, it's
destroyed it.
probably gonna double that easily.
Right.
Keanu fucking Reeves.
Yeah,
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's
man's got an
amazing.
insane following. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck. That just look. I never sought out to be like, hey, he's the kind of face of a movement, and that never was my intentions. But the fact that there's just folks that they can see it. Yeah, the enthusiasm is awesome, but they can also see it as tangible. It's something that really shows people that what we are able to do is what we are able to do, and they might not like it, but we don't have to go through them because we don't answer to them. So that's when all these fucking weird ass leftist YouTubers who are the most protective of these fucking $1 billion these guys try to present themselves if they have some fucking moral high ground. I ain't seen people more protective of $1 billion fucking institutions than I have in my life. But they're so protective of that fucking old guard. And what this shows is that what I've been saying for a while, like, we do not have to go through them. All that shit is illusion. It's smoke and mirrors. The minute people decide to reroute their focus on something or to something else, you could see the benefits. You know what I mean? And that's what we have right now is that 25,000 purchases, and I don't know. I just don't know what to do. You know what I mean? Like, what these fuckers, they're trying to stop us, but they can't. And I know that's making it aggravating. And to see them kind of try to ramp it up is fucking weird because, like, I'm not your enemy. I'm not in your way. I'm not doing shit. I'm just created something and people got enthusiastic about it. If anything, you think you try to pick up something from that, hell, also get on the wave. You know what I mean? And try to maybe see individual success in your own right, you know what I mean? Instead of fucking trying to act like, well, we're doing something wrong or we out of pocket, when it all really boils down to is the fact that what I said could happen, people are seeing it happen before their eyes, but also it's like, it's far more meaningful and impactful because, we didn't go through, I paid $0 in marketing. Like, this was like probably the most organic thing that has existed in modern history as far as in a comic book space. That was just, it was no force, nothing forced. It was no like, okay, big entity or Access Media place me here and then get all the nah, that wasn't what happened. It was just put the fucking shit out, and people that wanted to cover it, New York Post coverage, Fox covers it. I did not pay for that to happen. I just fucking put the shit out, did my own trailers, put those out. People got enthusiastic about it. It's as organic as it's gonna get. No corporate bullshit, and that aggravates people for different reasons that have more to do with politics and more to do with the fact that they just don't like that there's someone that kind of skipped the line to them. You know what I mean? As we didn't go through the proper channels and we didn't go through them. Like, this right here, and I brought this part up on Friday Night Tights yesterday when I was in there just for a little bit, and that was this right here is the biggest story right now in comics. It should be.
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely.
I don't think any of those CBRs of the world have covered shit about this, right? Because it's not their job. The job is not to care about fucking books. Their job is to care about protecting the old guard that gives them access. Now, I'm not saying that because I'm sour at that. I don't give a shit. It's proving the point. It's that we don't need these fucking guys. We never did, but more people are seeing it play out that we legitimately do not need these fucking people. We can do our own thing. And provide kind of with our own means.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That was what
go ahead, Disper.
That was what I liked about the argument, is that all the arguments kind of attack from both sides. They just prove that none of the arguments are based off principle, because they said both contradictory things at the same time. So one of them was, well, you're not mainstream, you're not going to be as big as Marvel. And then the next thing, when you are getting reported on by mainstream people like Fox News. It's like, well, you shouldn't be supported by those. That's a horrible thing. You don't want to be talked about those people. You can't have both things.
Yeah.
Either you're big enough to be mainstream or you're not. Pick one, which one you want. And then you had the entire progressive stack where it's like, well, you know, you've got black characters, so these people won't support you. It's like, oh, they support you. Well, what are we going to do about this? You've got white people in it as well. That's a problem. Oh, there's not black women in it. And then that's different. That was the best one.
Yeah.
And you were just like, no disrespect, but what are you talking about?
Yeah.
No,
And
it's
it's like, you've got to have everything in it all at once. And you know full well, if you had all of the groups that they listed, they'd just be like, well, it's ableist because you don't have someone with one leg and one arm in it.
Yes.
You'll never be able to win. And they'll always just niche down the stack as far as they can go.
That's the thing is, it's like, I think there's a small amount of people that are so loud on the internet that are the ones arguing against you. Like, I'm pretty sure that the majority of people see that, they're like, oh, this is really cool, you know, but those people are so vocal and so loud that they boost their voices, that they boost the volume of everything they're trying to say. And half the time, it's like I said before, it's so illogical. Like you just cannot please everybody. And at the end of the day, that's not the point. I don't think, you know, I think you're just making something you're passionate about. And in my opinion, that's to be celebrated. I wish more people would understand that. I think that's cool.
Well, I think the funny thing is too, like, we've seen, you know, people complaining, well, he didn't release it on like Indiegogo, or he didn't really. Well, yeah, but we've also seen those fucking companies decide, oh, you're doing too well and you're not really part of what we want going on here. We're going to shut you down. And you said that in the beginning. You're like, nah, I ain't fucking with these people no more. Like, fuck them. I'm doing my own thing and I'm not letting you have a cut of it. That pisses them off too. I mean, like, it's not, you didn't even just come in and say, hey, I'm making my own comic book and I'm doing my own thing. You said, I'm doing it. I'm going to have it ready to go before I ask you for any fucking thing. And also, I'm not going through any of these side sites. There's no middleman. I'm the man. Like, everything that you're not supposed to do completely went off the rails. Did everything that the industry says is the way to do things. It pisses everybody off because now you set a standard to say, okay, you know what? We actually don't need these Kickstarter campaigns if we can get the funds to do it now. We don't need to you know, and that's my other favorite part is you're not saying this is the way you have to do things, because that's what the industry will tell you. This is the way we do things. This is the standard that we follow, and if you deviate, you're the one in the wrong. Like, you're like, hey man, if you want to go kickstart and early campaigns, raise funds, do your thing, man. Do how you want to do it. But the fact is, now you set a precedent because they know watching success, other people will follow. Other people are going to look at that and they go, okay, I don't have to do it the way I was told. I can do it differently now. Now I can move on. I don't have to be beholden to all these people. You know, it's terrifying because, you know, nobody, well, I shouldn't say nobody. Right-minded people don't set out to try to become heroes. They don't set out to try to inspire people. Well, I made this comic because I really want to. That's crazy, like Hollywood talk. You know, I'm an artist and I just want to inspire the world, or I have championed this cause. You're just like, nah, man, I love comic books and I'm going to make a good comic book. And you did. And like, everybody's now watching it, you know, play out. So nobody ever sets out to make history. And I think that's the thing. Like, this is historic. Like, this is something nobody has ever seen before. And I fucking loved Razorfist's response, his video.
Oh man,
it's
such
been
a
like,
great video. Yeah.
You know, I mean, we're watching it to hear about, like, I don't know. I kind of want to know from your perspective, what is it like hearing, like, you very, very likely have just brought about a new age in comic book, and not just in comic books, but in entertainment.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like, look, man, I think everybody knows that something's fundamentally wrong. You know what I mean? Even if they can't really pinpoint what exactly is wrong with entertainment, people recognize something's not right. And I've done this. This isn't my first time with even my band, my old one, the one I'm in now. It's that if something doesn't make sense, I will not go through it just because go do it just because everybody else is. Some of it is just me being hard-headed as shit, and I am. Others is just if it's illogical to me, or you have to explain to me why I should do it your way or the way that it is expected of me to do it. That was why kind of the way that we released our album in 2017, it was the same shit. It's like, well, this is the industry standard. This is what everybody does. And I'm like, yeah, but that doesn't make sense to me. So I'm not gonna do that, and the band's not gonna do that, and we didn't. And we saw success. Obviously, it wasn't at this level, but it was insane. And that is just how I'm wired. I'm like, dude, if shit don't make sense, it doesn't make sense. But sometimes we get kind of caught up in, okay, the people that are in a position of influence or they're prominent in some way, people look to them as if they have some sort of form of legitimacy. They have established their way to do something, and it has done nothing but benefit them. Considering how a lot of them are wired, it is not in their best interest to give away the game. And that is that to provide people with information that would then have them circumvent, or rather kind of undercut you. You know what I mean? So it's in Marvel's, DC's, and the other guys who have their way they do business, right? It's beneficial to them, but it may not be beneficial to me, and it wasn't. So I didn't think the shit made sense. So I said, you know what? I'm going to do it this way. Everybody's telling me to put it on Indiegogo, Kickstarter. I'm not going to do that because I cannot justify giving them 5 to 7 or whatever the percentage is when I know that. Think about it. Now it makes sense. You remember? I don't know if you guys remember. I got criticized for that when I first announced.
Oh yeah.
That.
Oh yeah.
That I was like, hey, I'm gonna do my own thing. And people were like, why would you do that? Why wouldn't you do it on Indiegogo? Basically, everybody else is doing. I'm like, well, think about it. You know, that percentage of that they're taking just as a platform fee, I could spend that money to actually build the site myself, and it's not going to cost me that much to build it or maintain it for, let's say, a year. And now that's been especially legitimized. Because you imagine if Indiegogo took 5% of 2.2 million.
Yeah,
you know how much money that fucking is, and that I never touched. Like I never got that money, whatever that dollar figure is, because I suck at math. Whatever that is, that would have that's not how much I spent on the server to make sure the servers was situated, to make sure the website was built, to make sure everything in between was ready to rock. I didn't spend that much money to do that, so why would I give them the money? So now it's looking like the investment paid off, and I'm not telling everybody to go do that. It's just, I had the startup cost and it was risky, but I did it and it paid off. And now sometimes it's how it has to be. And that's the difficult thing about being a creative that's also a businessman, is you can't expect them to understand that. This is why, even Walt Disney was not a businessman. His brother was. And you know what I mean? And that's why his, that kind of worked out in certainly the way that it is. It's like oftentimes there are people that are either creative, they are the businessmen. And if you get yourself surrounded by great people, you can make a nice little mesh. I was blessed to have kind of both of those lines of thinking. So I'm looking at it, and I can't expect people that are purely creative to understand what that looks like. So when I was getting criticized for it, I was taking it because I was like, yeah, they don't get it now, but wait till it comes out. And wait till this thing launches. Did I expect to get $2.2 million? Hell no. But I expected to see some level of success. And once it got to where it got, people now see, okay, that's why he spent all that money. And even now, when it comes to the fulfillment process and all this stuff that we're gonna have to, we got to ramp things up and try to get caught up. But even with that, it's like we can figure it out. Like, I get how everybody else does it, but I don't want to do it that way because I can't make it make sense. It's dollars just being taken off the top because people are lazy. Or rather, they don't want to do that. And I'm I get it. It's only so much time in the day. Sometimes you got to offset monies for other people and designate it for other people. But, sometimes it's like, no, like you can do it yourself. Go for it if you can, if it's realistic. So the fact that people are looking to this and inspired, not just with entertainment or the creative side of things, but the fact that people are like, okay, wait a minute, you mean to tell me that this man did this and he saw this level of success without having to ask basically any permission, without having to, get some sort of authorization to do shit. You know what I mean? The old guard and their little Access Media, they don't talk to me. You know what I mean? They don't fucking like me. They're sending their little fucking minions on me right now, the guys that are so protective of them. So we don't need them. And everybody on our corner of the internet sees that. We've seen so much growth in the last year. Now, I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about thinking people on our little side of the internet. You got Nick Ricada, you got that umbrella guy, and all these guys who are Disparu is here. All these guys have seen so much like success. Josiah coming back, like that's impactful. You know what I mean? That's real. It shows that we don't answer to these guys. And a lot of us have been had pieces wrote about us. They don't like us. They get these little shitty viral tweets, and nothing actually comes of it because we don't answer to them. That only works on them, which is why that's the only deployment that they have, where they can. I'm gonna do a video. I'm gonna try to ratio them. I'm gonna try to do this, and that. But that's all that they have, and that kind of pressure that they put on like their own colleagues is what works on them, so they can whip everybody into shape and have them get in line. But that doesn't work on our side, mainly because, well, we don't answer. So,
yeah, and they absolutely hate that. They hate that we don't answer to them, and that's what makes them so mad. You know, these people are so vicious. They want to have the entire narrative under their control. They want to have everything under their thumb. And when something like Ripa comes along with the Rippaverse, and that isn't under their thumb, or he's doing things that are outside of the narrative, especially, you know, all these people that love to, you know, preach and virtue signal how they love diversity and they want to raise up black voices, and then suddenly you have a very successful black guy coming along and they can't stand that because it wasn't through them.
Yep.
So they hate that. They hate that so much.
Yeah.
Support black businesses. Okay, wait a minute. Listen.
Yeah.
I know what I said, but what I meant was, yeah,
exactly.
That's pretty cool watching them kind of try to, again, as I've worded it, is like watching our arguments be diffused in real time, because they're trying to like kind of bullshit their way around, trying to make it make sense that they are in opposition basically to everything that they claim to want to, that should be happening in entertainment right now.
Yep.
But because, to your point, that it's not going through them, we've not asked them for anything. They're not the ones, they're not the handlers, they're not the guys that control anything. They have an issue with it. So they now have to try to discredit it. And it's less to do about me, though it is about me, but more to do about themselves and not wanting to concede that they may have been wrong on everything. And this is how kind of narcissists that they are. This is kind of how they operate. It's like, well, I can't be wrong. You know what I mean? This has got to be something wrong with all of y'all. That's, you know, no, I'm not wrong. So, you know, they're trying to cope with that. And you're seeing some of these emotional responses. Like, these are people really going through a crisis right now.
Yeah.
Like, not even joking. Like, they're fucking going through it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And the whole idea of coming off and doing it yourself, an attitude that people used to have like a few decades ago is things like anything worth doing is hard work. And so you put that hard work in and it pays off later by the fact that the reason you are untouchable is because it's all your own system. If you were like, because you saw Patreon kicked off a load of people, everyone went over to Subscribestar. Well, maybe they'll treat you right, or maybe they'll just decide one day if they got big enough that they don't need you anymore. Whereas if you set up your own system, and it's just a simple web page at the end of the day, you could also do that. And one of the things that you've got with this is the system's always been broken. If you go to books, I think Brandon Sanderson wrote 10 books before he managed to get published. And the moment he got published and it took off, they just went back and published his other 9 that he'd written before. So the books are always of the quality that they should have been popular, but they were gatekept by that industry. And they've always put themselves as, no, we will tell you what quality is, but that's just not necessary anymore. The audience is the judge of quality, and things will sink or swim off their own merit. And what you end up with is the publishers essentially just do marketing at this point, and they're not even as good as us at that. They don't have all the people that you do, or all the connections you do if you went through some kind of publishing house to get that kind of advertisement or get that kind of support. You doing it yourself carried a more... If anything, their publishing would just pay other people with YouTube channels to advertise it for you. Yeah. That's how marketing has traditionally worked. Well, the thing is, if you do it yourself and everyone believes in you naturally without getting paid, it is far more impactful. Yes. And that's what people want at the end of the day. Yeah. They want authenticity, not some fake bought message from someone that says it's good, but is really just getting paid to say it.
Yeah. Absolutely. Well, I watched a thing not that long ago where it was actually Steve Harvey, even though he's part of the machine. He was talking about being like an actor and being, you know, in Hollywood or in the industry, and like you got an agent you got to pay, you know, you got a publicist you got to pay, you know, you got your crew that you got to, like your team that you got to pay, you know, and he's like, by the time you get through, you got lawyers you got to pay. By the time you get through all of that, half of your money's already gone. And we've heard that in the music industry. Kanye West has been a big proponent of that recently. Hell, Prince was doing it and Michael Jackson was doing it back in the day. They were trying to tell people, listen, man, they control everything. Like, we don't, You know, a lot of these, you know, musicians and stuff are penniless. They don't have hardly any money.
They're broke as fuck.
Broke. Because
Yeah.
these contracts are not in their favor. Dave Chappelle flat out told everybody, I got screwed. And the industry turned on him and said, well, he's just in it for the money. Why is he complaining about the money? You signed the contract. But he's like, they make you sign the contract. You don't have a choice. And now we're seeing that, you know what? Maybe we don't have to sign that contract. Maybe there's a way to do this without all of that. I mean, you know, like you said with your music, with backwards and stuff, like, nah, man, we ain't going to do it like that, you know? And there's been a couple other just recently, like it was been like the last 5 years, like Toby Wigwe, he's a rapper who decided, nah, man, I'm doing it myself. I'm doing it independent.
From Houston,
you know?
ain't he from like H-Town?
Yeah, he's from Houston.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, man,
Yep.
he just was like, no, I'm going to do it myself. I'm not doing this. And now, you know, he ended up, he went on BET and met all these other people. He's huge and he's blowing up. But once again, it was because he said, listen, I'm going to reach out to the people that have the real power, which is the audience. It's the people. These companies have no power without us, you know, providing them the money, providing them the publicity, talking about it on social media. Like, that's why trending is a thing on Twitter. Because they know, hey, if people get talking about it, it'll be trending, and we talk about it trending. You know, these actors go on these television shows, like Disbrew said, they have to go on television shows to promote their product. Ripple was just like, hey, man, I got a thing. What do you guys think about it? And that was a response.
Yeah.
I mean, people are so hungry for something different. I think they'll come 99% of the time. You know, like if you make it, people will come eventually. Especially if it's something that they're passionate about as well. So I think like for your case, you're making comic books. And there's so many people out there that love comic books, but they're so tired of the stories that Marvel and DC are putting out that just aren't very good. Or at least they just don't feel like they have a lot of passion behind them. You know, like I feel at least for some of the more recent stuff, a lot of the writers don't feel like they care a whole lot anymore about the characters. They don't really feel like they care a whole lot about the audience. And so because of that, there's such a drought in comic books. I think like something like what you're doing is even more impactful because of that. And so I think more people should just go for it, because I think at the end of the day, there is a big audience out there ready and willing to support you. You just gotta find them. So
well, and Disbrew, this is also something that Disbrew said, like with like publishers and like with writers and stuff like that, and how they, you know, Brandon Sanderson had 10 books sitting there ready to go, and they were just like, oh well, this book is good, so now we'll publish the other ones. Well, it's like similar with like script writing and stuff like that too. There are people I was told this in the behind the scenes. There are guys literally that are writers that have never published a script. They write scripts and they send them to these like production companies, and production companies buy them because they're good quality scripts, but they don't want them out there and they don't want them getting made in the movies because it'll step on the toes of what they're doing. So people will write these really generic scripts, and they literally get paid just to write these generic scripts so that these production companies can put them on the shelf and never do anything with them. There are literally like some of the best scripts you'll ever see sitting on a shelf somewhere because they didn't want to publish that. They wanted to make another Marvel movie, and they didn't want that getting in the way of what they were going to do. You know, so but now we can go to now we're looking at a situation where people are going to start making their own movies now because this is inspiring them. People are going to start making their own music now. People are going to write their own books now and go, hey man, how can we do it on our own? How is this new business model going to work? And I guarantee, I already know Rip is probably getting his message box is blowing up, his inbox with all these people going, man, how are you doing this? What are you doing? Or you know, hey man, can I get on some of that?
What's the secret?
How's that working for you, man? Like, how'd you do that? You know.
Right.
Yeah, and I think that's the inspiring thing of what Rip has done is that, you know, it's inspire people to think outside of the box and to think outside of the way that things have been. And you know, that's something that even with me, you know, with me being in independent film making, you know, a few years ago, and kind of trying to just go the normal route of how movies were made and everything else, and then kind of like, you know, put them in the festivals and all of that, and you kind of that's how people did it with independent film, you know, like you go the festival route, you do all these different things, and you know, a lot of that, my eyes were open to a lot of just how that system was set up, and the fact that if you are someone that thinks outside of the box at all, then you aren't really going to make it anywhere, which is why I was like, well, you know what? I'm just going to step away for a few years, and I'm going to start my own YouTube channel so that I can, grow an audience of people that are going to be interested in what I am doing. And I'm going to do it in a different way. And Ripa, you're the same way. You're completely shattering the way that things have been with the Rippaverse. And that is just, we're just going to continue. It's like with the old media, like we always see the way that media has been for decades now at this point, centuries. And they hate the fact that times are changing now and they aren't going to be relevant anymore.
Yeah.
And they can't stand that. And the same thing is going to happen with the entertainment industry. The same thing's going to happen with comic books and everything. So it's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, I've noticed a lot more people self-publishing their own books too now, not even just comic books, but just like fiction books. And it's making me lean that way because I write, that's something that I want to get my stories out there. But I feel like publishing companies, every single one of them just doesn't, half the time they don't want to publish what people send to them, and they send it back and they shut it down. But I think there's so many good stories out there that people want to tell that they just will never put out there because they're afraid to not just do it themselves, and they want to wait for a company to get behind them. And it's unfortunate because I think, like I said, there's a lot of really brilliant, creative minds out there that just, unfortunately, a lot of them will never get heard unless they think outside the box and do something different.
Well,
And a lot of it's just about updating the business models. Like books, especially, you print all the books, then you have to send them off into all the bookstores around whatever nation you got. You could be like, there's thousands upon thousands of expensive text sitting there, and you have no idea because it's just a book on a shelf at that point. There's no reason anyone should pick that up over any other book in that store.
Right.
That's why there's a bit more of a filter there because there's such upfront cost. Whereas they could update that when it is something done online or pitched to an already existing audience. A lot of that risk goes away because they already know you, they have confidence in what you do and what you make. Right. So it's a fundamental problem with the system. They weren't deliberately trying to be sort of an arse about it when they set it up. It was just what they had to do to function there. And I think the issue is none of this updates. Everything moves so slowly when the rest of the world, especially online, is moving so quickly that they just fall behind and don't know how to change.
The model is archaic. It's like maybe it did make sense years ago, you know what I mean? And it never caught up. I say this about music all the time, about how, like, even with music, hell, especially with music, it still hasn't caught up to like streaming. Like, nobody knows what the fuck a platinum record actually means now that they're still trying to figure out, well, this many streams. Like, you can't quantify that compared to how it was the old. So they're still trying to figure that out. But the model is just, it was old. It just maybe it made sense back in the day, but in the day and age where you have a direct line of sight with your audience, it's some of that stuff is obsolete. You know what I mean? And thankfully for us, they haven't caught up to that. Like, the old guard hasn't caught up to that, which is why they don't know what the fuck to do. And you got to understand, it's kind of what Razorfist talking a little bit about, like the job protection stuff. I've talked about this many times before as well, but you got to understand, like, why they're so dirty or so protective of that is that we've seen it. We've seen creatives, I use that loosely, that have existed within the Marvels or the DCs and have, let's say, tried to go outside of that and done their own thing, and the shit was a dud. You know what I mean? It's like nobody was interested in it because really they're not interested in it's like the day of the movie star. It's like those days are beyond it. Chris Evans thought he was one, and nobody gives a shit. You know what I mean? Like, you play Cap, okay, that's great, but you're not Tom Cruise. You're not like, there's not that many of those that exist anymore that, that person can go do whatever. And people are going to go watch it. Motherfucker make a movie about whatever it is, and people are going to watch it. Those days are beyond us. And a lot of people that are creatives in the old guard space, they don't have that power to do that either. So their cash cow, per se, is tying it to something that already exists and is already notable. And that's why they bet so much on that, or bank so much on its protection, because in the event that goes away, they go away. We've seen it. They've tried. They failed at that. There's not a whole lot of people that can leave that situation and do what it is that we've been able to do. And then not by we, I'm not saying just individually me, I'm saying other independent comic creators that have seen like solid sales. A lot of them can't go do that. They can't replicate that method because they don't have the pool like that. They only have it when it's attached to their stuff. So that's why they're so protective, because they understand that any event that the jig is up, because some people, and to be expected, are going to be under the law. But once people snap out of that and like people reroute their focus, like, okay, that was there, I don't want that anymore, I'm going over here, they know they're fucking done, because they don't have anything that's comparable aside from just having control of what already has existed and what people already recognize.
Absolutely.
And a lot of the power of the old model as well, like in publishing, it was simply they knew the bookstores and they knew the journalists that would advertise your stuff in mainstream media, whereas you go directly to the customer, so you cut them out entirely. You could even argue that their connections were sort of just big business talking to each other, and it was only valuable when there was a high street.
Yours.
Yeah,
type of situation.
It doesn't benefit the customer at all. Anything in that relationship.
Well, that's the thing. It's a whole lot of people that all know each other behind the scenes, all benefiting each other behind the scenes, and it's at the cost of the audience or the creators, that don't have any power. They're standing at the gate going, when do I get let in, or what brass ring do I need to grab to be the next thing? I mean, we've also seen them. They do it all the time. They used to do it all the time. They decide, you know what, this new actor is the star, even if you don't like him. Brie fucking Larson. Yeah, they're like, Brie Larson's the new person. We're like, yeah, but we don't like her. And they're like, well,
you're gonna like her.
We'll shame you into liking her.
You better like her.
If you don't like her, you're sexist.
She's the most powerful Avenger ever. And you're like, I don't think that's true because of the comic books. And they're like, I didn't ask you what the comic book said. What we told you was she's the most powerful Avenger ever.
Don't forget, if you don't like her, you hate women. So
yeah.
You also hate women superheroes, even though there's a lot of really great women superheroes. Maybe Brie Larson is just annoying and not that great, and her character's terrible.
Yeah, we've seen it a lot in media where they decide they want something to get the next thing to get pushed, the next person to get pushed. I used to do it. I used to be a big fan of professional wrestling, and then John Cena fucking came along, and they were like, he's the guy, and you're like, I don't like him, and they're like, I didn't ask. I said he's the guy. I mean, it's just how it is, and now that can't happen because we have not only do we have direct line of sight to people that we actually like, but we also can all talk to each other now. There's mass conversations,
more transparency and more interactivity.
Absolutely.
But again, they don't have that. It's all smoke mirrors. The fact that you got to get 17 economists to try to get together to see how much a book sold lets you know, which is why like someone would ever dare to try to criticize me for cooking the books. I was like, when has Marvel and DC ever been honest with any of you motherfuckers about what how much books they actually pushing? You know what I mean? Why is it that you got Comic-Con and you got these ICV2s and shit, and they got to work together to try to crunch numbers and shit? Why? Because they're not giving them to you. You know what I mean? But that's permissible, right? That's okay, and we're supposed to accept their word for it, which is why I say it's bullshit. I think they know that. I think a lot of them know that it's smoke and mirrors. They exist as the establishment because they exist, and nobody actually knows why. It's like, well, it's not that good, you know what I mean? And even the bottom line right now for some of these guys are really hurting. None of this shit makes sense. Well, it doesn't, and that's the difference, I guess, between what's been happening in these recent years versus in the past. Because a lot of people in the past, we just kind of hold our nose and deal with it, whereas now people are like, well, okay, that doesn't make sense, and I'm gonna actually question it. And then if that question becomes something that I want to, let's say, pursue in terms of a solution, I now have the means to go get that done. And now people are starting to act because they're in a position. And this is why I said, look, dude, as it looks right now, all signs point to me seeing a lot of success on the other side of this. But even if I wasn't, I still welcome that world because I thought it was decentralized and then people know where I am philosophically. The fact that, for example, a telephone fucking company they sold off their assets, DC. The fuck does that got to do with any of that? Well, that's the day and age of the mega corporation. But in the event that we got on the other side of this, and there'll be a lot of successes, there might not be $1 billion successes, but I consider this a success, and maybe there's other folks that are in this space that are doing similar things, and there's going to be more of them. Probably they're not all going to be owned by one entity. I, for one, welcome that. I welcome that world, even if I wasn't the one benefiting. I would certainly prefer that over the Disney having as much as what they have, or Fox have. Warner or whatever, AT&T or whatever, having whatever the fuck they have. Why does it have to be that way? It doesn't, but it does benefit them if we keep being under the illusion that it has to be that way. And that's, we're entering into a new age where folks are just waking up and getting up out of that.
Absolutely.
And I think smaller, more distributed success is better. Like, the golden age for the video game industry for me was sort of like the late 90s, early 2000s. And that was a load of people that could get a very small group of people together and make a game that they wanted to make because it didn't exist and they wanted to play it. And that was the perfect thing for them. And then it all moved into mega corporations. The games were far too expensive to make. And so now you've got less games made by fewer people, and everything just becomes a sort of a meaningless mess to get the broadest range of people possible rather than a niche game that people really love. And if you get that with comic books, it's like, yeah, it may not be what a huge Marvel movie would make, but because you're a smaller man band kind of thing, it's still a massive success for you. And that also means that many other people can do it. And now you've got a whole range of comics which can niche down to a target audience and be something that people love rather than something that a lot of people are kind of okay with.
Yeah.
I think that benefits, again, from a customer's perspective. I think everybody wins.
Yeah, and that's one of the beautiful things about it too, is that I think people can really see the difference in something like a Ripa comic versus a Marvel comic that's coming out these days, because one is completely just corporatized and everything else, and the other one has actual soul and heart put into it and everything else. And people, I think, can just instinctively feel that with
100%.
different stories. So
well, we know that. Go ahead.
Like people pick up on if you are actually passionate about what it is that you're doing. I believe that's like an infectious thing as well. And I think I'd argue that's the largest part of the success, or one of the larger kind of components of it, is that, well, I'm not some guy in a suit and tie that just decided I wanted to make a lot of money, so I entered into the market. Yep. No, this has been my life. You know what I mean? And people that have seen me in, videos and various stuff that I do, like I'm a comic book lifer. This is what I've done. This is what I've been into. And now I'm just entering into the more creative space in terms of owning like the business. So it's owned by someone who knows it. You know what I mean? And I am, there's going to be growing pains and stuff that I got to learn along the way, but I'm a lifer and I'm actually passionate about that. And when that soul is there, people pick up on it, and it's a different thing. It's a different thing between Marvel just putting shit out just for the sake of putting shit out, or DC, and it's like it feels like they're just giving books to whoever, like, and they're just writing them, even if it doesn't make sense. None of it is connected. Continuity be down because there's no soul in it. It's just, hey, here's a title, go write it. Who cares? Whereas what we're trying to do here is all about passion. That's why I have a code of ethics. This is why I made that shit public, because it's a set of standards that the audience gets to hold me to. And that's only a problem when you have no soul and you don't believe in it, and you want that kind of ability to be able to, not ability, because you have the ability to change it up. But, if I change it up and I have that code of ethics, it derails my business. I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? It keeps me on the rails of what it is that I set out to do. And it's easy to do that when you have passion in your project. And this is why we need more creatives kind of doing that. And those creator-owned types of scenarios. And even if you don't have the business line of thinking, you can get with another creative or someone else that does have a business line, and you can make something special happen. Like I said, if I got my way and more me's kind of went into different angles of entertainment, it's not just about comics. Hopefully we see the same similar thing in video games, movies, and short films or whatever. We start to see that, because like I said, it'll be a lot of little pockets having a lot of success, but it just won't look like it has over the last year. And that's like billions upon billions going to one. That's probably not going to happen, but I'm fine with that. I am perfectly fine with people being able to route their focus and attention to what they actually like. It builds healthy and thriving fandoms. which builds friendships, which boosts the morale of the people in whatever geographical area that is. It's way big. It's not a trivial thing. This is important stuff. So the more people that get out there and just give it a shot and see success, and to the folks that are, the weirdos, they're gonna always move the post anyway. Like you mentioned, like I make. So, I had people say I wasn't going to make this, you know what I mean? And I made that, and then that kept moving to 2 million. Now it's moving to probably, oh, well, he'll never do what a mark. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, it has to keep moving. And I'm like, well, I'm not in a business of like trying to be the $1 billion corporation, because that I don't want to do that. Well, I defeat the fucking purpose of what I'm going to do. So if your comparison is I have to do that, which has some kind of, you kind of consider it like some laundering in it, or at least a Ponzi scheme in some case, because we know this isn't a really lucrative entity, but it's tied to this mega entity that can pour money or push money into it, and it makes it, or rather gives the appearance that that's a very lucrative thing. It's why now that people are kind of looking at the numbers, they see, well, Marvel DC isn't doing as good as I thought it was. You know what I mean? The top selling graphic novel last year only sold 24,000 copies. You know what I mean? Like, it's not as unrealistic, but yeah, they may put out more in volume, because they have 75 lines going on at the same time. So yeah, they have that luxury. But as far as like individual success, like they're not killing it like a lot of people think that they are. And the more people figure that out, the better we're going to be.
Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
Well, we also have learned with movies and stuff, they go, well, this movie made $1 billion, but we also spent $250 million on production and another $200 million, on marketing and all the other numbers that you don't see behind the scenes that we don't tell you about. And really, we only made like $100 million on the movie. But part of the reason that some of these companies spend as much as they do is because of all the bullshit that goes on behind the scenes. You got to pay off this guy, you got to pay off that guy, and we got a union involved that knows that they inflate numbers, and well, you got to pay this person this much money, or this actor wants $250 million for the movie that they're in, and it's like showing up offering Johnny Depp $33 million to be in a movie because they're like, we need your star power and stuff, but like we don't have to do that. There's a reason that like indie movies and like this percent indie video games and stuff like that are starting to do really well, because they don't have all the overhead costs and all of the bullshit to wade through before they can finally produce something. They can just produce it, and the biggest thing is getting started. That's always the hard part of anything, but like they don't have all the overhead costs. And so you see a movie come out and the budget is $5 million and they make a ton of money off of it, and it's a better quality than a Marvel film. And that should never have been the case. There should never be a case where you can spend $100 million and make a worse movie than a movie that spent $5 million. But it's happening because these people, they felt good about themselves. The other thing they don't talk about is the fact that they have investors. They're beholden to their investors. So they have all these people that go, hey, I'll give you all this money to do a movie, but I expect my niece to be in the movie, or I expect you guys to implement this kind of ideology in the film, or, well, I really don't like that character talks like that. Can you make him talk like this? Nobody has that kind of oversight. Ripa didn't have somebody in his ear going, hey man, can you make sure that you have a black guy for your main character? I think you need like 30% of your characters to be white, and I think you need at least 10% of them to be gay. Like, he's like, nah, man, I wrote these characters, and that's what I wanted them to be.
Yeah.
Well, it's also funny because we always hear the narrative coming from all these different sides of the internet and everything else, to say like our community are very racist and sexist and everything else. And Ripa literally has like a black guy as the main character in his first comic, and then he has Yaira coming up as well, and people are obsessed with her.
They're fucking obsessed.
Oh my gosh! But we still see you are just like blowing things up with how successful this is going, and it completely just shatters that entire narrative as well, which is hilarious.
That's the argument being derailed like real time, because they it's a figment of their imagination, but still to this day they have an idea of who they need their enemy to be. It doesn't matter if that enemy is actually that. They just need them to have those positions. They just need them to be that person, because their arguments don't work. And these people have been so committed to that position that they're gonna get out there and tell everybody blah blah blah, like this person's racist, this person's sexist, this person's homophobic, all this other bullshit claim. and it can't stick now, and they're like, oh shit, I don't know what I've not equipped myself to do anything else, so I have to still somehow try to figure out how it's racism that a black person created a original black character that is the head honcho kind of for this launching of this universe. They've committed too much to that narrative that they're gonna still try to make that there's some sort of nefarious racism going on in the background.
Absolutely.
If they can't figure out a reason to make you their enemy, they'll absolutely fabricate one. I mean, just
Well, I love the
NPC scripts just 404 out as it hits the bottom. There is no more lines.
They're like, there's nothing. They have their life cycle. You know what I mean? What they're supposed to do is like Red Dead or Skyrim or whatever the NPC is. They're gonna do that. You know what I mean? As even sophisticated as it might be, they cannot deviate, however, from what that script allows them to do. And this is why they're so fucked, and they're just wishing for failure and all of that other weird shit. And it's like, dude, I'm in a great spot. I mean, I'm not. I've said this many times. I'm not like buying a Lamborghini or some shit. I'm reinvesting the money, right back into the company because there's something that I believe in. You know what I mean? And I know. My team's going through my emails. We've got some very interesting people like that want in on it, but can't get in on it because it's not how this shit fucking works. Right. Like I've said this before. Even before I launched, I didn't tell. I don't want to act like I knew I was gonna make $2 million. I had no idea I was gonna make $2 million. That much money. And it's not what I'm saying at all. But I did say, like, look, man, these guys. You look at like the George Lucases of the world, and you look at all these other people who sold off their assets for so much money, and I get it because I'm not justifying that. What I'm saying is like with the old guard and the old setup, like there was always a ceiling. That's why everybody was incentivized to do that. You know what I mean? Why company was incentivized to sell this off? Because another company that was bigger than them gave them an offer that they could not refuse. And they're looking at it like, I will never see that much money with this project doing it on my own. So they sell it off. Whereas to now, it's like Disney could come to me and say, well, we want that item. We'll give you $500 million. And I can tell them, at this rate, I'm going to make fucking $500 million myself off the project. Why the fuck would I take? Go fuck yourself. You know what I mean? Like, that's the power it is that we have because of this. Like, no amount, there's no dollar sign that they could put like on this project where I'm looking at it like, if the trajectory is this, I literally have no reason to. I wouldn't do it anyway. You know what I mean? But I have no reason to do it because I get to skip you. Like, that's the whole point. The whole point is that I don't have to answer to you. I don't have to go after you. So that first like lump sum of money so that I can just get the fuck out their way, I'm not interested because I could be a part of the process. And who knows, like with this, like with me, like for example, not going to a third party like Indiegogo or something to take off those fees that they take off, I benefited from it in the long run. You know what I mean? So that's the approach, and that's the benefit of what we have with this sort of new kind of age of technology that the world and the entertainment is still trying to catch up with.
And I'm not even sure there's any proof that, because everything you look at, the bigger the company or the organization that does it, the worse it gets. It's like movies now cost way more to make than they used to, and I think most people agree that they've gotten worse over time. Games have got exactly the same way. The more people are involved in an organization, the more inefficient it gets. And if you think about even as a worker, what you'd rather work for, you'd rather work for a small family business than a big mega corporation that you're just another number. And even if you take it further into like a societal level, because that family business cares about that area, they're normally into the area, they employ local people, they will help that area far more than like a major supermarket where all the money goes off into an entirely other part of the country and is never seen again. And it's just more extracting kind of wealth. So I do think that if you can get businesses closer to the customer, then it's win-win all the way down for literally everyone involved.
Absolutely. 100%, man.
Yeah. Totally.
I really wanted to bring this up. I wanted to ask you. I know you talked about it a lot recently, but I think it's kind of interesting because obviously on the internet, everybody has their own opinions and attitudes, and we have places where we all go to talk, like a certain website called Reddit. They, people wanted to go there and talk about the Rippaverse, and people on Reddit said, fuck no, you can't do that.
Mhm.
Because he hate groups and stuff.
Yeah.
What do you think? What do you think is going to happen going forward now? Because obviously this is a train that's not stopping. What's funny is like I constantly go on Reddit and look, and there's constantly people posting about it. They're like, "I don't give a fuck, ban me. I'm just going to do it again." And now they're like, "Well, if you keep posting about it, we'll ban your like IP permanently from the site." You know. So what do you? I mean, do you think this is going to end up creating like where it's going to cause people to innovate and create their own websites like Reddit,
100%.
like Twitter and stuff? Yeah,
100%. I mean, they're creating strides in effect anyway. So as more people feel like that, it's being suppressed, more people are like, what the hell is this project? You know what I mean? And then they go look into it. But 100%, like, and because of how the setup was with this startup, people are looking at it like, yeah, it is very doable. It's a thing that we can actually pull off. So as more folks do it, more folks see it, more folks get inspired, the more people are like, who knows what the fuck the next thing is going to be. So I do expect them to ramp it up, hit pieces and all that shit. It's just inevitable. You know what I mean? That's what's going to happen. However, like, who gives a shit? You know what I mean? The whole point is that we don't answer to them. So if you look at that, and that's why we do what we do. You see what's going on with Reddit and these little subreddits and shit, and these fucking weirdos who are the biggest fucking comic book, let's say subreddit, is sitting there trying to suppress some shit, and the excuse that they give is lousy as fuck anyway. It's he's supported by hate groups, like, and then they have to so they know they can't. This is the type. It's like a whole Nazi sympathizer thing. It's like, well, I can't quite call you one, so I want to do a roundabout way to still tie you to it. So it's like you don't. There's somebody that's loosely connected. So it's like he's cool with someone that's cool with someone else that also likes that person, and then that person once did this, and it's like you got to go all those great lengths to try to say that I'm bad, and they have no sort of self-awareness of how shitty it makes them look. You know what I mean? That dude. Yeah. I could understand you doing that to like my like regular commentary, because I do political commentary and doing all that, and that stuff might not be appropriate for all like avenues and stuff. But this has been very mild in the sense that of how we like promoted this ourselves, like with I'm speaking specifically to the promotional material. So you look at the trailers and you look at the campaign where you actually buy stuff from, and it's nothing controversial. There's nothing like heavy political slander, and it's just some comic shit. You know what I mean? That's it. So they're trying to basically paint me as somebody bad for the least offensive thing I've probably ever done in my life. So it's interesting to see this damn thing play out.
Oh man, it's crazy.
It's because it wasn't what you said. It's your success, which is what is the threat to the system.
Yep.
It's like if they can just crush you before anything happens, then that's a win to them, and they can continue with the same kind of system as anything else. Whereas even just someone existing outside the system proves that their system isn't all that it takes, and that's all that it needs for the entire thing to crumble, because it's not a very solid one to begin with. And the thing is, that at the moment, the attacks are like they're coming after you on Twitter, but if you were on Indiegogo or something, those attacks wouldn't be coming at you. They'd be going at Indiegogo, like directly to make the entire thing close
exactly.
down.
That's probably perfectly put. Like they would absolutely be trying to undercut me there, and they would be making those rounds to them. Hey, look at what he once said, or what someone else once said, and look, he's a bad person, and you should take him off. That's exactly what I wanted to avoid, because I'm like, if I'm going to see all of this success, I want to reap as much benefit as I can so I can reinvest in the company, but I don't want to be dealing with this type of shit. I don't want to be dealing with that sort of moderation bullshit for my own fucking company because I'm dependent or relying upon this avenue or this party to actually distribute my shit. I don't want to have to deal with all that stuff, so I don't. But you're completely right, Isbro. In the event that we went to Kickstarter or Indiegogo, that's exactly who they be going after right now and trying to get our shit pulled.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and we see what's going on, like with the storefront with that umbrella guy right now with Teespring and their bullshit. You know what I mean? Like that's what we have to deal with.
Mm-hmm. They want you beholden to the company, because then you are easily controlled. Because then there's only one person they need to go and convince, and it's not you.
Yep.
Absolutely.
100%,
Yeah.
man. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
I mean, and they always use these like, you know, very vague type of terms, like you know, you're hateful, you're part of a hate group and all these things. And then, you know, you start asking them like, okay, what are the specifics here? And they will never give you the actual specifics. You know, you're like, well, my comic has, you know, all these, you know, characters that would be considered diverse characters in the mainstream's eye, but you know, you're saying that my, you know, over $2 million plus you know, support for this comic is coming from hate groups. Like, it doesn't make any sense at all. And it's the same thing, you know, even when I got demonetized by YouTube, like they were very vague with all those types of terms as well. Like, you know, oh well, you know, your opinions are harmful to your viewers.
Yeah.
Like every video I
Did
put
anyone tell
out,
the viewers?
like every video I put out has like a 99% like to dislike ratio. Everyone is very positive in all my comments. Everyone loves what I have to say. So who gives you the permission to speak for my audience? You know what I mean? It's just ridiculous. It's insane.
And if you want to know where that goes, think, because over there it's just like vague terms that companies have gone. Over here we have the laws for them. We have the hate speech laws and everything else. And it's literally defined in law as whatever somebody interprets it to be. If someone thinks it is, then it is. There was a dog over here that got arrested for a hate crime because it pooed on someone's front step, and they thought it was a racist incident because the dog did it. Like, it just literally goes into whatever someone perceives. Because that guy thought it was, it was. And so it's the ultimate perception becomes reality, and it's completely... The moment you make a rule like that, it just means whatever they want it to mean.
Exactly.
Dog is a racist.
Yep.
No, it's in the paper. It's literally a news.
That's insane. And yeah, that's why they keep those types of terms like hate speech and hate stuff, you know, very vague, because then they can throw whatever they want under that label. So
yeah. Well, and there's like two things. One thing I thought was really funny too is the other argument that people started making. They go, "Wait, he has black characters. Doesn't that make his stuff woke?"
Oh my god!
And I'm like, "What? I was like, you just told on yourself because you just explained that's what you assume is woke."
Yep.
Yes. Yes.
You're like, well, I know
it shows that they never listened to shit we ever said, and that just reassures all of pretty much everybody here has done videos talking about these retards. Like, that's exactly what it is. That it's always been. It's been like this. They have again made up in their mind what they think we should believe. So they need us to believe that when you criticize Brie Larson's acting in Captain Marvel, you're only doing it because she's a woman. You know what I mean? They believe that, oh, this Reva chick that's in, you know, Star Wars, if you are critical of that character, then you have to have a problem with black women. You know what I mean? That's the type of stuff that they need to be true. So this goes right back to what I was saying, and that you're watching their arguments be diffused in real time, because the same people that they say don't like those deals because of X reasons are fucking supporting this. So they can't wrap their mind around it. And instead of just looking in the mirror and saying, maybe I was fucking wrong about these fucking guys, they're like, well, wait a minute. No, you were wrong. And it's like, fuck, you idiot. Like, you never understood the argument. You never tried to.
Yeah.
100%. It's definitely bad faith. I think it's funny. They're like, isn't that woke? Why do you guys like it? And it's like, because it's not woke. We just wanted good characters. But the other thing I think is funny too, like we've been saying too, is the fact that they're, you know, the arguments, well, it's a grift, you know, he's grifting, or whether just stealing money from their audience and blah, 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 blah. But we're actually in the minority. Like, we don't own billion-dollar companies. We're not making millions of dollars hand over fist. These companies like Marvel, DC, all these companies, I mean, they keep losing money too, but they're billion-dollar corporations, and they have the most people looking at them. They had the most eyes on them that, like, of anybody. It was all theirs to lose. And the fact that they're losing it is because of their own faults, but they're trying to like blame everybody else. And they're like, it's funny to me, the whole thing. I've been talking to Josiah about this, like The Boys season 3, there was a character, this white guy that got like radicalized or whatever. And people keep using him whenever you defend, you know, Rippaverse or wherever you talk about, you know, Sam Wilson is actually Falcon. And they're like, wow, you sound like that guy. And I'm like, you know, like that guy is worshiping the company that represents the company that you're defending. Like, that guy's supporting the very the thing that we're arguing against.
Yes.
He's, and you guys can't even see that. They have no idea. They assume that they're the underdogs when they have all the money and they had all the influence and all the power up until recently. So it's just funny to watch them make that argument constantly of like, well, you're just oppressing me or trying to hurt me. I'm like, with what?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I've talked about that so much in so many of my videos. There's these certain groups of people out there, who have like an alphabet for their title and everything else, and they like to talk about how they're like super oppressed all the time. They literally have an entire month dedicated to them every year, where all these corporations just like splooge everything, just in their name.
Well, they use them for money, unfortunately. I mean, they use people for money just like they use us as fans for money. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
So
they actually get 2 in the UK because we celebrate the US one and the British one.
Oh wow!
No,
there's double over here. Yeah,
no
August.
way.
Oh, man.
August over here as well.
Oh man,
how does that work? America's over there
September,
celebrating. It's time to celebrate it. And guys, I know we already celebrated it over there, but it's time to celebrate it again.
Oh yeah, there you go. Despite in the US it's June, in the UK many Pride events are held in July, August, and September.
Wow. So
all year
the
round.
Entire summer is just
yeah. There's barely enough room to fit the other sins in.
Yeah. God damn, man.
I mean, I keep trying to get a gluttony month, but I've not got it through yet.
That's crazy. I didn't even know that.
Wow.
That's nuts, man. So.
Yeah,
I mean, bro.
Yeah, it's nuts. I mean, there's a lot of other things that are going on with that besides just money as well. But
well, I know that Ripa. I know that I know we need to get caught up in super chats, but I kind of wanted to ask too.
Well, Ben's already spoken.
Everybody, I know. Ben's
I know.
spoken. We gotta wait.
Mike, hold that thought for a second. I just want to take a moment just to say we have over 800 people watching us right now.
Nice.
That is so awesome. Thank you everyone for being here.
Yeah,
this is awesome. This is so far the record for our streams when it comes to the Epicverse live streams. So that's fantastic. Nice. Thank you all for being here. We appreciate you all.
Well,
Mike.
I mean, Ripa's kind of in the business of breaking records now. So he's
exactly.
Wherever he goes now, he's doing something.
Breaking all the records.
Yeah.
The best moment was still you've just broke 2 million leaves.
Hell yeah! Look at that money. Bye.
Oh man,
that's all I wanted you guys to say. Now I'm out of here.
I signed on for 2 minutes of your time. Now I gotta go.
Yeah.
Every million he adds another minute to every show.
Or he takes a minute away.
Yeah, it's just check it down. He's like, I got like 15 seconds, man. I know everybody's wondering. Everybody wants to know, and I know how this works. You can't really talk a whole lot about certain things. What's next?
Oh man, dude, we're getting back to work. Like, we got a lot of warehouse stuff, and this is the one thing that I will say I wanted to bring up. Like, I know folks are looking at like fulfillment, and it's like, well, he's trying to do his own fulfillment, and I know I get it. Like, this kind of we got to scale up. Considering that, I don't know, we have 25,000 purchases. Like, we have to scale up on what it is we're doing. That's not going to be a problem, but you'll be very surprised with a handful of people that just want to work. You'd be surprised how much you can get done. Like, we went there today, me, my wife, and one of my closest friends went to the warehouse today to do a bunch of shit, and like we got that shit done between 3 people, like so much in like an hour. Like, it just goes to show, like, you could do all that. So I'm working. That's my biggest thing right now is work. Non-stop work and trying to make get prepared is more so what it is that we're doing. So I've expanded my team. We had that stretch goal that I announced to everybody that, hey, everybody that's been on with us is going to become full-time or part-timers. That's already happened. Everybody is officially full-time now. They accepted all their offers. So our team immediately expanded. It feels good. This is why I'm finally able to go do this, right? Like stuff like this, which I wanted to the whole entire week. But I'm like, well, shit, I'm on the back end trying to put out fires. Well, now it's like I got a team. So tickets and shit are being worked at while I'm doing this. You know what I mean? So that's awesome.
Love it.
To be able to build my team to get to a point to where that's kind of on just like automation there. And also, writing. Like, a lot of people don't know. I saw 2 One isn't even out. You know, comes out next month. You'll start seeing some of those shipments go out. But we're already right. Me and Cliff are already doing 2. Like he's doing the pistol and he's like, we're like 15 pages in. Like so, we're like moving. Like this is I want to get this stuff out relatively quickly. We have some announcements pertaining to some other material that we plan to put out. So really that's all where we're at right now. It's all about like work nonstop. So what's next for me is preparing myself for this massive fulfillment process that we're gonna have, and also getting forward thinking about the material. You know what I mean? Because this is not going to be the only book that comes out. We got other books and shit that I was prepared for. So I have grown my team, added a couple of new guys that will be starting here soon enough. But it's just we're now in a position. It's been legitimized. That's what the numbers do. It's not about I made $1 million. I'm gonna take all with the loot. It's more okay. That they want this. You know what I mean? So I got to give it to them. And so I'm just interested in getting back to work.
That's
absolutely love
That's
it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Which is a lot different. A lot of times people take a victory lap and you're like, nah, man, we got to get back to work. The victory lap
That's
is the money.
I bet your team is so excited about that though too.
Dude, I will say this: it brings a smile to my face for me to be able to look to them and say, "Hey, that little corporate job or whatever you were working, because I know we didn't have enough room for you here, but you were doing some part-time stuff. You don't got to do that anymore. You know what I mean? And you get to do something that's here, and it's new, it's fresh, it's ever expanding. So there's a lot of growth opportunity within it, and I'm paying these guys well to be able to do that. Pretty much everybody that's brought on my team is doing the work that they'll be doing here, and they're making more than what they were before. That feels good for me, because it's not just about me. The fact that this opportunity creates other opportunities for other people makes this even better than what I ever could imagine. So I love to be in a position like this, and you're completely correct. The team has been absolutely fucking stoked to the point to where it's Saturday and they're working right now, not because I wanted them to, it was just because they knew, like, okay, we got to get this is kind of a process of what we need to do. So they're awesome. My team's been awesome, and I'm just so thankful for them.
Dude, hell yeah, man. Shout out to Ripa's team. That's dope. I mean, once again, though, a grift, you take the money, take a victory lap, you chill, sit on your laurels, and you go, I'll get to the second book. An actual person that's passionate and gives a shit hires employees, buckles up, reinvests the money, and gets back to work. That's dope. That's awesome.
Exactly.
Man.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So
that's great. I'm gonna pull up the website here so that people can look at it here. So yeah, make sure that you go and support Rippaverse is over at Rippaverse.com. You can go check out the campaign for ISOM Volume 1 or Series 1, whatever. And as you can see here, we have all the different tiers. So you can, there's so many different options here of what you can do to support it and everything else. The artwork is phenomenal. You can see like samples of what it's going to look like and everything else. So it's great. Make sure that you go support it. Look at that. 25,269 total purchasers at this moment.
Boom.
That's
amazing,
insane, man. That's unreal, man. I thank everybody for that, all the support. Thankfully, we rolled out with international shipping. I know that was a big one. I realized how many fucking supporters we got in like Australia and the UK and shit. And like the fact that everybody was able to get their hands on it, or are going to be able to get their hands on it, it's fucking awesome. So it's been awesome.
Yep. I thought that was dope when you announced that, because I know a lot of them places don't do international shipping. They're like, sorry, it's only for us. And then people were like, oh, can I get it over here? And you're like, hell yeah, you can. And everybody's like, oh shit,
Yep.
That's always what's amazed me about everything. Because if I look at my YouTube analytics, 44% of my viewers are from America. And if you look at like movies and stuff, half the box office comes from the rest of the world, and half's domestic. And it's like they're still determined to put solely American politics and American ideas and American arguments into their stuff, which ruins it for the rest of the world, which is half of their audience, and they don't care. No. And it's just so. I know the whole idea, like American exceptionalism and stuff like that, but it's like you're actually destroying it. You're actively putting something in which half your audience either doesn't care about or will just get actively annoyed by deliberately.
Yeah. I wouldn't say that woke ideology is American exceptionalism. But...
No, when I said that, I wasn't quite sure what I meant. I meant like American ideas, like but American arguments, as in both sides. So,
like the whole
even if
race thing, like you've told us so many times, Disparu, that over there, you guys don't think about that.
No, it's culture.
Yeah,
it's like skin color isn't really an argument. They're on about your beliefs because that's what drives people. I've never understood the argument because it's the most ridiculous part of something. But what you believe, that can change how you act, how you treat people, what you actually physically do, and that matters. Yes. So it's always such a weird thing to care about rather than how people conduct themselves in the world. And I think there's a lot of debates you can have about culture rather than just a chemical in your skin.
Yeah, that's what the debate should be about is culture. Absolutely. 100%. So
absolutely, man. That's dope.
Yeah, that's great. So we have a lot of super chats to get to as well. So let me go ahead and pull up some of that. And Ripa, anytime that you got to take off, I know that you have a lot going on. So anytime that you need to take off, I
always got
you're more than welcome to. So
there's in this day and age, it is always something to do.
Yeah,
it's been nuts, man. Oh man, it's just. I'm playing catch up all the time. It's kind of where I'm at with
yeah, man. Hey,
definitely.
Man. Can't be more like, for what it's worth, man. We're super proud of you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, there's nothing like. There's just nothing like that in our sphere. This is something totally new, and for people that have been creating in our sphere and doing their thing, it's awesome. But it's like watching everybody just lose their minds, knowing that like this is a real deal, and somebody did it and legitimized it, and it's no longer us hiding in the shadows trying to make something work where we can, or wishing we could do something, man. You took a big risk, and that's going to make other people take risks, and it's going to make, and inspired the hell out of us. I told Josiah the day you hit $1 million, it's like, God damn it, man. Like, he blew the door off. Now we got to sit there. Now we got to follow that act.
Yeah. Well, I will say this, everything that's been happening this week with you, Ripa, has just like motivated me,
awesome.
Like 100% over what I was at, and it's great. It's just been awesome because it just opens up the door for so many other people, and it's motivated so many other people. It's opened up opportunities, and it's just fantastic. So so obviously we've been working on Epicverse as well, and we are so excited to bring that to all of you as well. And we're not going to stop. We're not stopping here. We're not going to be stopping at all. If anything, the train just sped up even more. So it's great.
It definitely did. I'm very privy to that. I was like, God damn, man, it's all gonna change now. But it's a good thing, though. It's definitely not a bad thing, man. It's like watching somebody go like, I'm gonna bust that fucking door open. And everybody's like, you can't. You're not supposed to. And then Ripa kicked the fucking door down with 2.2 million. He's still going. He just started running through the building, started snatching shit up. Everybody's like, we can't stop him. Like, it's good shit to watch though, because it just I look forward to just whatever we can do to support it, obviously. But my other favorite part is how many people have said, I don't even buy comic books, or I haven't bought a comic book since the 90s, and I'm buying this shit because it got me excited again for the first time. Like,
that's important, man. That's me. Yep.
That's been the biggest thing I've noticed is so many people are buying a comic.
And if I was anybody else and I was getting people enthusiastic about this hobby, I'd be the greatest person. Like, but because that's what it's about, right? Inclusivity is what they talk about all the time. Whereas to now, it's like, well, no, wait a minute, it's the wrong guy with the wrong opinions, so he can't get people enthusiastic about this. It has to come through us. We're the guys that are responsible for doing this type of shit. It's like, you fucking losers, man.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Yeah. So Silver Phantom X, thank you for the $4 super sticker. We appreciate that. There are some of these super chats I believe have some questions for you, Ripa, and stuff as well. Let me just see if I can get down to where those are at here. So we have Drunk 3PO, The Rebellion. Let's go, Rippaverse.
Check
out. Read your super chat.
Yeah, I did. We read your super chat. Drunk.
Thank you, Jay. Appreciate that. Hope you're happy. We have Buford T. Justice with $20. Ripa, I appreciate you making the numbers public, not because I wanted transparency, but because now I can throw it in the face of all the woke SJW weirdos. I'm proud of you, man. We have won.
Absolutely, beautiful T Justice, man. I appreciate you. We see you all the time, man, and I appreciate your support. But there's a lot of benefits to having that kind of public number up there. It just it obviously introduces the level of transparency, but we getting shit done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's something that's, I think people appreciate transparency and honesty just in general. That's something that I think distinguishes a lot of different YouTubers from other YouTubers. It's, when you have, more of the corporatized type of YouTubers who, they're all sitting there in their, super fancy studios and they're, not really relating with their audience. And then you have people that like, me that just sits here in my bedroom and puts out a video and stuff. The difference is, people can see the honesty and the genuineness of it. So, yeah. And then we have Zero Max with a 5. What is that? Like a euro? Is that a euro?
I think that's euro,
Sure.
right?
Yeah. 5 euros.
This person's not helping us at all. I don't know what a euro looks like. I don't know what that symbol is.
I think it is. I don't know. The runaway train is off the railway and it's unstoppable. All hail the Rippaverse, the rebellion. Thank you so
Hell
much.
yeah.
Appreciate
Hell
that.
yeah.
That's awesome. Let's see. And then we have Dark Side Droids for $10. We are fucking winning Rippaverse. Support the independent creators.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, man.
Exactly.
Big shout out.
All about.
Yeah.
Chef Nick Nero, thank you for the $10 super chat. Man, Ripa is hitting 10 million on this. Wait and see. This isn't just a comic book. This is a movement. Ripa is showing everyone what is possible when you walk away from what they think they control.
100%. Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
That's it, man. That's it. Thank you so much, Nick Nero, for that $10 super chat. And then we have Jolly Roger. Thank you for the $20 super chat. I was waiting impatiently for Rippaverse to drop. Now I'm only waiting impatiently for Epicverse. These are beacons in the dark. Thank you so much, Jolly Roger. Appreciate that.
Ripa's lighting it the fuck up right now. So
absolutely. Yeah. Yep.
I still remember watching like on Tuesday nights main event, people yelling, "You're like, where are you dropping Rippaverse?" You're like, when it's ready, I'll let you know. And everybody's like, "Nah, man, you tell us now. You give us information now." Yeah. Well, there you go. You got it. So
yeah. That must have been so hard having to keep all that.
Yeah, trying to hold on, keep it tight to the chest, man. Even though I know where I was at, it's like, damn, bro. And then when I finally got everything came together, and I was like, I can finally do this. It felt so good to be able to just let everybody in on it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
So let's see here. We also have a super chat from Svenstead. Thank you for the. I don't even know what that is, but thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. Economic classes will use this for future studies.
Hell yeah.
That would be something. That'd be
cool.
Yeah. Well, all that needs to be completely uprooted and changed too. So
well, the nice thing is, get them out of schools. You just homeschool them. Real economics,
There you go.
It's
exactly.
Danish kroner as well. That one.
Okay, gotcha. Thanks, Disbrew. Appreciate that.
I thought it was, but I looked it up before I started being
like. Ryan, the Eating Warrior. Thank you so much for whatever that is. Disbrew.
I don't know that one.
Ripa, anybody from Rogan or Timcast reach out to have you on their shows?
Man, I haven't gotten any flagged emails. I'll be going through some of that tonight. I'll have a lot of time tonight to go through that stuff. Not that I know of. I mean, obviously I've done Tim mentioned it in the show.
Okay.
The other day, but I haven't gotten it. And then again, what I do it at this time is just I'm so worried about working, and Rogan will be a lot easier because he's in Austin. But going all the way to Mass or wherever Tim is again. If you haven't seen my previous episode I did with him about a year or so ago, you can go watch that. But it just makes a little more sense. I could probably pull off Rogan because it's here, and I can probably that's a day trip and I'm out. I can be back on the same day, whereas I don't know about doing that with Tim.
Yeah,
Getting on Rogan would be legendary.
Yeah.
That'd be
Mhm.
awesome.
that'd be huge. Yeah.
Mhm.
Also, stretch goal idea: have a raffle per campaign to have a fan drawn into the background of a scene in your books.
Well, that was kind of the point of the whale tier that I tried to price you all out of.
You
Yeah.
sold
Didn't
10 of
work.
them.
Yeah, exactly. That was the $5,000 tier.
Yeah,
right?
the 5,000, the be canonized one. That's kind of what we were
Yep.
doing with that. But I mean, shit, we had like 5 available, and the bitch was gone in like two fucking, not even 2 hours. I think they were gone.
Yeah, it was gone in like almost the first hour. I remember looking at it. I was like, I wonder. I was like, God damn, it's already gone. Like,
Yeah. People are hyped for that one.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
That's great. That's awesome.
And that was the Qatari reel as well. I did get it right.
Okay, gotcha. Nice.
Guess the weird currency.
Yeah. Freedom's Lunch, thank you for the $20 super chat. I interviewed Eric a few years ago to talk about open borders during the Great Helicopter Commie Wars. Posted a video on my channel here. I went by Paul Gordon then.
Oh, I know exactly who that is.
Yeah.
Oh,
Glad
nice.
to see you arrive. Your victory is significant.
Appreciate that. Big shout out to you. It's good to see that you're still doing your thing.
That's awesome,
man. That's dope. Dude, that's crazy.
Great Helicopter Comic Wars. I love
that. That is the funny thing for people that all be like, we believe that production should be in the hands of the workers. Then they go, no, you need to look for a major multi-billion-dollar corporation. So it's like, you can't even hold to your own principles.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Thank you, Freedom's Lunch. Appreciate that. Let's see here. What else do we got here? We have 487 Sean Tower. Thank you for the $20 super chat. Ripa, I am Canadian and bought over 600 worth of product. I noticed the shipping was costly, but did not notice any taxes like GST, good and service attached. Please put disclaimer, not responsible for taxes, respect.
Wait a minute. You talking about like you're not seeing the tax on the international? I don't know. Maybe there's something that was missed there because I'm pretty sure they're there. And it automatically it didn't maybe separate it. I don't know, but it's there. It's for sure. It got to be there. Yeah. It's probably just including in kind of how this price was structured. So. If you guys have questions, though, you can enter in that help beacon little ticket, and we can get to it if there's something that we need to do.
Yep. Well, make sure to remember that. Yeah, there's help on the website, and everything I've ever heard is that it's quick, concise, and everybody's gotten the help they needed. So
yeah, we're flying through those. I think we're down to only like 25 tickets.
That's awesome.
So fuck, man.
Nice.
Like, I'm talking about, dude. Like after the first like 2 days, we had like 50, 100. It was fucking insane, man. I was like, oh shit, wow, everything's on fire. But we got in there. My team got in there, and we got to chipping at those. I was working all last night, and I'll be working a little bit today. I know I have something that I need to follow up on today, and I will tonight. But yeah, man, that's the benefit of being able to hire good people. You know what I mean? Is you got people to kind of do that, and that's they've been godsend, man. Godsend.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. I mean, I think it's great though. I mean, because once again, the transparency of it is we have all been privy to something where like something came out or something happened or something dropped and then the website completely crashed and you got an 800 number that you call that you're not going to get through to anybody on, and you might hear back from somebody eventually. The fact that on Twitter you're like, listen, if you got a problem, here's where you go. And it was just constant. I mean, that's another thing too. I mean, how are you handling it better than these companies that do it every year? Every fucking year,
we had those
Call of
server
Duty
disasters, and we got them resolved like before the first day. There's some lingering issues, but for the most part, like it got to running smooth. It got to running like now. It's like there's almost no issues now, man. So yeah, I'm always bitching about EA and their fucking service. They can't get shit fucking right. And here we are. We can somehow manage to, and there's a lot of hits on the back end, like crazy. A lot of it is people refreshing and trying to see what the number is and stuff. Right. But there's a lot of hits on the website. So we had those issues, but we got to resolve relatively quick.
But this happens with big companies. Like if you have a problem, you make a decision and you get it solved. First thing EA will do is have a meeting. Well, we'll all schedule a time tomorrow in the afternoon at 2 p.m. We'll talk about it for 2 hours, and then someone there will work out what to do after. So it takes so much longer as it goes through so many more people.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm just I'm still against any massive institution will inevitably turn crap. It doesn't work.
That is facts. That is facts. Yeah. And it's almost like, Rippaverse gives a shit and EA doesn't. I know, crazy.
God damn, it's magic.
EA not caring? Unheard of. Never heard of that.
I apologize. I don't know how to say your name. But thank you so much for the super chat. I'm an illustrator and comic creator myself, and your success thus far gives me hope that many still yearn for character-driven narratives like the good old days. Thank you so much for the inspiration.
That's what it's all about, man. And appreciate you, man. I'm glad certainly about that.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it's all about. Good storytelling, good characters. That's what people want. That's all we want.
Yep.
Real quick, I want to ask Ripa something because I didn't catch the stream where it happened. I saw you got rid of FIFA.
Oh, I uninstalled that shit. Yeah.
What happened?
I don't even remember what the instance was, but I think I was still pissed. I got fucked at the last game, because we do the weekend league shit, and then it was lingering into the next game, and I was just could feel my blood boiling. And I was like, you know what? I don't need to be playing this shit. Fuck this damn game, and I fucking uninstalled that shit live on stream, man.
That's amazing. I was like, I heard somebody, they're like, Ripa just got rid of FIFA. And I was like, what? And in the next stream, you're like, uninstall FIFA. Oh, that shit's funny, man. Yeah.
Yep, that shit got uninstalled.
Yeah.
You haven't uninstalled Mario Kart yet, though.
No, I haven't. It's still on my Switch. It's still on my Switch.
I don't know, man. I do have last question for now, because I got lots of questions for you. But the other thing I know a lot of people are wondering, the vision is comic books right now, but like when you were thinking about this in the beginning, and then even now, more so now with the success you've had, were you looking to branch out? What are you looking towards movies, animation, video games?
Again, it was just, it's funny how, I keep getting blessed, man, because I looked at it like, even with the start of the company, it was something I wasn't going to be able to do until I was like well into my 40s. And I thought that was going to be the case. And then it wasn't, I was like 29 when I first said, I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to do this. And, a couple years afterwards, here we are. And with this stuff, it speeds up the process about everything it is that we're doing right now. It's like, okay, I'm looking at the dollar figure and I'm like, okay, maybe it's time to consider that, maybe it was something I was going to put off down the line, but now it kind of moved, the calendar moves up, because it's like, well, we're starting to get to a point to where maybe we can realistically fund those. So I will say I thought it was kind of out of sight, out of mind for a little bit, but now it's getting more closer, maybe animation, maybe more realistic. I don't know, but I'm 100% interested in that. And if it means others, I do want to branch into other stuff. Let's say that. And what that means is just about making the dollars make sense and making it be right. As long as it's right, then I will do whatever the customers want. You know what I mean? If they're interested and intrigued by it, and we can make a little money off of it, I'm 100% up for it.
Awesome, love it.
Nice,
dope, man.
Nice.
Yep,
it's awesome. So, you've also mentioned like possible like video games, things like that as well. That'd be pretty cool too. So, do you have like some ideas of how that would work?
Yeah, like I obviously have ideas that I would want to enter into this space, because that's something of the others. Yeah, like animation, live action, all that's cool. But if there was of that kind of those different things, if there was something that I could do, I do the gaming stuff. But I know that it's about making that be realistic and what realistically we could do. I would love to do something kind of in that realm for sure. It's just grabbing the right guys that can make it come to life and do it the right way, I'm up for it though. Like that's not anything that's off the table. Like that's of all the things outside of the comics that I would like to do that was inspired by our universe or from our just straight up from the universe, I would for sure like to be in gaming.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What
We need good superhero video games, man.
Yes.
Not enough of them. So yeah.
Yeah. Very few. Very few.
Yeah.
Are there like any games that, you know, obviously you don't have to get into, you know, what you're looking for exactly as far as that, but are there like any games that you really, really like that you kind of feel like you want to lean towards as far as like the play style goes, gameplay, some of that type of stuff?
100%. Like my dream, you know, this may be out of this, you know, maybe you start with like some 2D side scroll or some beat 'em up or something. But for me, I would love to. I've talked about like, you know, the DC universes of the world, and I've talked about like, you know, that kind of concept of giving the player that plays the game the freedom to kind of do whatever they want, kind of that, but it's supposed to exist in that realm of what you think is DC. I've always been intrigued by that. What I hated about not hated, no, that's wrong. It's just dated, is its combat system. Like I've always wanted to see if I could mix something like that, where the world of that, like the expansive world of a game like that, and the concept of a game like that, but having the combat system that's more akin to something that like makes the audience have to think, or the player has to think, not necessarily a button mash or anything. Or I don't want to do like the tab and shit like what you see of more traditional MMOs and stuff. I want like a true live response, like okay, this thing is coming at you. If you don't move out the way, you're gonna get fucked up, type of shit.
Souls type games almost. Like
like that, like more of those types. Where again, it's a live response, but having the element of and the fantasy element and the superhero element of what you may be expecting that game and blending those, I feel like that's untapped material. But to me, it will be less about having the audience play as a character that's in the game, and I would much rather give them the tools to create their own shit. You know what I mean? Within that world, and see kind of what cool things that they could come up with. They could still kind of like what DC Universe does. You can still see Wonder Woman in there. You know, you'll go talk to her and she'll that could happen. But I would much rather give the audience the freedom to do it. So if I could mix some of that kind of with, you know, those two elements of a combat system, but making it a little more intricate, I would do that 100%. I would do that.
It's dope.
Yeah, complex combat systems are always so much more rewarding. Like there's this game that came out, I think it came out back in 2015. I can't believe it came out that long ago, called For Honor, which like they had a combat system in there. It was all like melee type of fighting. Yeah, but I loved their combat system.
That was a good game. Yeah, it was a solid. For Honor was solid as fuck. But yeah, it's like, again, like, and it's entered into like a cooperative and PvP kind of element. So, you know, that's what I want. So for sure, I dig that. Yeah.
I dig that, man. Awesome. That's awesome. What about Rippaverse?
I had to make it make sense. A cart game. I don't know how we pull that off within our universe. A cart game with all our characters.
There's just a secret thing in it. If you call Jeremy, it slows you down. Yeah,
Jeremy's character always slows down at the end. Yeah,
gets uncovered by data miners 2 years down the line.
So, can you just kind of as a side note, can you talk a little bit more about these? Because you have these trading cards as well. These like big ass trading cards that are super cool looking. You know, they have kind of like the 3D thing going on a little bit with them too. Yeah. So can you kind of talk about those a little bit? Because you have those as part of the your campaign, right?
You can get those. That's one of the items that'll be available. We got plenty of them, so they're available through the entirety of the campaign. And a lot of people asked about the character that appeared at the end of the trailer, the Isom trailer. Those are his cards, so it ties into the lore of the universe. The information on it in the back is important, and they're not just regular size cards. Like this is a trading card, you know what I mean? But like our cards are like, as it, I think it says 5 by, it's basically almost 5 by 7 in terms of how big it is. So it's like the size of bigger than my hand, or about the size of what my hand almost is. A massive card. that has kind of lenticular design, and you get all 11 of them. So all 11 of the kids, not like, hey, you get a random card. Like, no, all 11 of them come in that deck.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm really those were the most just because of how they're designed. They were the most expensive item on the on the campaign. They cost more than a book, like for sure. Like a full deck of them cost more than a book.
That's crazy. That's so cool though. They look great, and I'm sure people are gonna be so hyped to get those. So
absolutely,
that'll be awesome. Let's see here. We have another super chat from DL Ritter. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Eric, please buy the Bat Fam when the campaign is done. I have an idea for a show, but I refuse to submit to DC Comics. But for you, brother, just say when.
Okay. Roger that. If they keep going in the direction they're going in, they'll be broke, so that's fine.
Yeah.
Pick them up for $10.
Yeah.
I'll buy Batman.
Rippaverse buying Batman might be the greatest thing that ever happened in history. So, Rippaverse news, reviews, and theories. Thank you for the $1 super chat. Appreciate that. Look at that. People are already creating.
Man. We've seen a lot of fandom related kind of cool stuff, and that's what this shit is about, man.
That's
so
great.
I love to see that stuff.
Yaira fan art, all of that good stuff.
Yeah,
love it.
Yeah, it's been sick, man.
Yeah, that's great.
It's dope.
Let's
just
see
wait until
here.
the Rule 34 starts to appear.
Probably
already exists. I don't know what I'm saying.
Probably already is a thing.
Chen Lee, thank you for the $20 super chat. Number 1, congratulations, Eric July. May your success continue. 2, please make sure of first things you get for yourself is some form of wrist support for your primary hand. And 3, Lego Lamborghini.
Got a lot of shit to sign. And get a Lego Lamborghini. Okay, I guess that's a lot cheaper. I guess I can maybe justify spending that.
Next stream we'll see Ripa with a fur coat, and he's like, "Nah, man, I already had this." He's like, "Nah, man, I already had this too."
They got like all those Lego sets that look ultra realistic and stuff. Like you could get one of those and build a Lambo, and then
buy one of those, and then just tell people, "Yeah, I got a Lambo."
Got the Lamborghini.
That'd be funny. That'd be really funny.
I know you're still reading super chats. I got another question.
Yep, go for it.
Because I keep seeing people saying it, obviously Elon Musk kind of fucked everything up for everybody because now everybody's expecting wealthy people to buy everything. Let's say you get down the line like 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and Marvel's fucking bankrupt as shit because we know that's where they're going and shit. Like, is there interest level in like one day buying something like the rights to some of your favorite characters? Redeeming them.
You mentioned that because I never I always thought about it in jest, man. But who knows, man? At this direction, I don't know if this is sustainable or what that is that they're doing. They have the merchandise and stuff like that, and that'll maybe keep them afloat. But it may be venturing off too much into what it is that they're doing. It may be fucking too much. So taking one of their characters or multiple characters. And being able to have them on like in our side, definitely if they're recognizable and as far as like I know who they are and I'm knowledgeable on them, who knows, maybe that's a realistic thing that makes sense. I mean, what it is about getting it in the hands of people that give a shit. That's more so what it is that we're trying to do here. So if that was me, you know what I mean? If it made sense, fuck yeah, I'd, take a Batman and I'd not fuck him up. You know what I mean? Like I could do him justice.
Absolutely, man. That's dope. That'd be so dope. Rip was like, I bought Batman, motherfuckers.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of hunger right now for original content as well, which I think this is why people are so excited for the Rippaverse as well.
Yeah.
So that's great too. So let's see here. We also have Jorge Barracuda. Thank you for the $10 super chat. Congrats. Ripa, haven't bought a comic since the days of Spawn and Shadowhawk. With a baby boy that just arrived, I'm excited to introduce him to the Rippaverse.
That's nice.
Hope there will be lots of books and lore. That is so awesome, dude.
There will be plenty, man, going forward. That's sick, though, man. That's fucking
dude. Just think about that. We have the kids that are going to be born into this new era of these new stories and everything else like that. I love it. I love that stuff.
Hell yeah,
I like it, man.
Fucking hell yeah.
That's so cool. Let's see here. We also have a Hef. Thank you for the $10 super chat. You have created my second favorite Twitter meltdown in history.
Yeah,
Nice.
Twitter weirdos going Twitter weirdos. So you know, that's what
Yeah,
they
yeah.
do.
Ain't got no
Exactly.
help. Yeah, it's a mess.
We have another one of these. Disbrew. What are we looking at here?
BGN. We just this
Bulgarian something. I don't know.
Bulgarian. Okay.
He's our new.
I'm just guessing by like trying to guess the.
Also, he said he was from Bulgaria, so
Oh,
Yeah,
there
it's the
you go.
Bulgarian Lev.
There you go.
Okay.
I'm 3 for 3 so far.
Nice.
No, I didn't know
Hey.
any of them. Just-
Thank you so much, Georgie. Hello, all. Hi, Ripa. Love your work. Cheers from East EU, Bulgaria. War is getting closer and closer, but guys like I'll keep me entertained. We need more original work like that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
that's awesome. That's great.
Yep.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. And I think that might be it for the super chats. Oh no, we got a couple
Ooh.
more down here.
Yeah, we got like a bunch
Pickle
of just
Bruv, $5. Thank you so much. Ripa, do you have plans to make the comics digital? Asking as a comic book normie.
Not really. I mean, I know I got a lot of questions about that. Definitely because we offered international shipping. You know what I mean? So anybody can get it. I just don't see that happening. I know, but it's more. Look, man, I see comic book is about. It's a physical medium. It's about having the damn thing in your hand, and to me, I think that's what that's what it's about.
Mhm.
So I know about people wanting to make it affordable and all that stuff, but really, I don't see ourselves really having that baked into our plans right now.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. Yeah, you can't beat having the something tangible like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's very true. Thank you so much once again for another super chat. Still don't know how to say your name, but thank you so much anyway. I'm an illustrator and comic creator myself. I think did you send this twice? And your success thus far gives me hope that many still yearn for character-driven narratives.
Yeah.
Like
I think
must have
similar
sent
to
it
the
twice.
last one. Yeah.
Yeah. But thank you so much anyway. Appreciate that once again. Thank you. A sour cream citizen, thank you for the $5 super chat. Ripa, is there an overarching story to the verse, and does it have an end generally that you have in mind?
Like ending of the well, no, if I ended the universe, then that's me going out of business. That's what will be that's what will be happening there. So we're just we got a lot of stories to tell, man. So it's not built like that. This is about the company and the universe and all the stories that exist within it. So some stories make sense to maybe have a beginning and an end, be more graphic novel style, but as far as the actual universe, no. Like there's it's just it's about having all those different characters in the universe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Yep.
Let's see. David Nawaki, thank you for the €5, I think, super chat. That FIFA stream was legendary to witness live. My man didn't win shit.
God damn it, man.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Whiskey Jack, thank you for the £2 super chat. Ripa, 1 million goal. Have you released those details?
No, we haven't released any detail on any stretch goal really at all. Next week, though, we're gonna go into it doing a lot of issue, like going through content. We're gonna start our content series. Let's say that, and we're gonna be talking about various things and that pertain to the business. So it should be like
awesome.
About really everything as well as the stretch goals.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm sure just like how crazy things blew up, it kind of made you start to reevaluate things a little bit.
Yeah, I really couldn't I wasn't expecting to have a lot of that stuff ready to have the content for it.
Yeah, we got about 75 days. Everybody's like, one?
Yeah, that's basically what happened.
It's awesome, man.
Thank you so much, Whiskey Jack. Brand Q featuring Quincy. Thank you for the $20 super chat. Ripa, I'm about to go buy all these books and merchandise. Oak Cliff, Texas.
All right, bro.
Awesome.
Oak Cliff, Texas.
Awesome.
Yeah, they're there for you. You got 70 days. Go ahead and get in where you fit in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that, man. Let's see here. Ulf Hednar Berserker, thank you for the $5 super chat. So, guys, y'all need to pressure the rich man here into doing something he needs to do. Get him to do that moonwalking video. Be cool, everyone. Wait. Okay, Ripa, what's the lore behind this?
I was
Yeah,
talking
I'm
about
curious.
I was talking about moonwalking on dead careers of comic pros. And that's basically kind of what we the lure behind that of us doing that on dead comic pros careers. We joked about that being a stretch goal, and yeah, we hit like $1 million. So yeah, maybe I'm supposed to do that,
dude. Got to do it, man.
That'd
be awesome.
yeah.
Thank you so much, man. Appreciate that. And let's see. I'm scrolling. There we go. We have that yellow spider guy. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Ripa, can you unban please me from your live chat?
I mean, what did you do? Because I don't ban anybody. That means the mod got you. So I mean, I can check it out. I mean, you can maybe send us a message, or rather talk to Sheep City, and if you are in like the Discord or something, and plead your case. But I don't like stepping. I like to let my mods do their thing, you know. So I don't like kind of coming over there like overruling what they did. What the fuck did you end up doing, man?
Yeah.
I watched you talking about somebody's like, "Hey, man, your mods banned me." He's like, "If they banned you for good reason."
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I guess it could have been an accident, but I just don't know. I mean, I don't also like going in there and like, because usually they're good about that type of stuff, you know. So
yeah.
But yeah, plead your case to Sheep.
Yep. Shout out to Sheep City, man. He's good people.
Yeah. Well, I know that yellow spider guy has been in our chats as well, and he seems like he's a pretty decent guy.
Yeah.
So he said he didn't do nothing.
Well, hit up Sheep, and he'll look into it.
Yeah.
There you go.
I mean, I did once get permabanned from a Twitch channel for saying this isn't a message, and it just banned me forever. I'm like, I thought it would time me out or something. It's like, no. So I contacted them and looked at my logs. Like, we don't know why you got banned either. Like, it's still a mystery to everyone involved.
That's so funny. Funny. I got like temporarily banned from Fortnite the other day.
What did you do?
I was just playing in a solos game, and there was someone else that kind of landed in the same spot that I did, and we both like grabbed weapons, and then we turned to each other, and like we didn't shoot at each other. We both started doing like the crouchy thing, you know, like we're good. So we didn't shoot each other. We started to go off, and there's like these other people that were fighting us, and we were taking them out together. We kind of like did this team up thing.
Yeah,
so
you can't do that.
Like,
that's a big no in games. They will yeet you.
Like, cheating son of a bitch, get out.
Yeah.
Like it was organic, you know. We had a thing going on, and they were like, "No, you can't have fun. You can't have fun here."
Wow.
Fortnite really takes any sort of cheating super seriously. So even if it's not that bad, they'll still be like, eat them and delete them.
I'm surprised they can detect it. It's like, what if you were just trash and you were shooting at each other and never hit each other? You know, it's got to happen.
Yeah.
Oh man. But that is I'm so happy for you, Eric, and everything that you have going on, man.
It's awesome.
It's awesome. So everyone, make sure that you go check out Rippaverse.com, where you can sign up for the campaign over there.
Yes, sir.
Make sure you get your comic in and everything else, and be a part of history, because that's what
history.
That's what's happening right here. So thank you so much, everyone. We appreciate you. And Mike, what do you have going on?
As always, you can check me out on Twitch, closing in on 900 followers. Nice. The _epic_ Mike. You can go check me out on Twitter. I mean, not that it means shit anyways, but I just hit 2,400 followers on Twitter, but it's a shithole anyways. So, but yeah, so thank you all for that. You can catch me here every Saturday, hanging out, doing my thing. And then you can catch me on the 25th, 8 p.m. Eastern time. We are starting the Frost Maiden, Secrets of the Frost Maiden campaign. It's me, Disparu, Amanda Miller, Nick Ricada, and Quarter Black Garrett. We're going to try really hard not to get murdered in the first game, but chances are we will. But go check that out too. So thank you guys so much. Yeah,
boom. Disparu, what about you, man?
Disparu on YouTube. Rings of Power coming out tomorrow, and then the San Diego Comic-Con, where they're coming out with even more stuff. So Lots of that over there. And coming up around sort of August and September are so many terrible TV shows that I'm like, I can't believe how many there is. I wish they'd spread them out a bit because I want to cover all of them. So we're going to see what happens with that. But yeah, it's
this
going to be
will
an
be
interesting time
thriving.
coming up.
You'll be
Oh,
thriving.
oh yeah. It's whether there's just enough
Thriving.
time in the day to review them all. That's going to be the problem.
Oh man. We have a couple more super chats here from Freedom's Lunch for $2. Go Eagles. Dallas sucks.
Wow.
He just- I can't say nothing because I'm a Lions fan. So
I can't. I mean, I'm angry because I'm a Cowboys fan. So
Yeah, Eagles.
get out of here.
They all suck. So
The Eagles are
You
like
don't
the
even
worst
watch
football
sports,
team on the
don't
planet. I hate the Eagles with a passion.
no, they're not the Browns. So that's
I don't hate the Browns though, except for
Yeah,
what they
that's-
did to Baker.
yeah.
So
you know what? I'll join you, Freedom's Lunch. Go Eagles. That's right. Boom.
you picked the wrong side.
Common Nerd, thank you for the $2 super chat. This is the dawn of a new age. Hail the Rippaverse.
Appreciate that, man.
Exactly.
Big
Boom.
shout out.
You got to start coming up with hand signals for Rippaverse, so you can say that that's a hate sign. I'm like, that's a white supremacist sign with his hands. Look,
You like the lightning on the cap thing or
Yeah.
something?
this is like it's a hate sign. It's a hate sign for sure.
Gotta be.
Yeah.
Arkham Knight Studio Knight, thank you for the $5 super chat. Congrats. Would love to see the Rippaverse take on making parodies against the woke mob. Would piss them off further.
Yeah, that's too easy though. Like for me, like, it's way too
Yeah,
easy.
that is very easy. Yeah.
Like that's such a low hanging fruit that I couldn't do it, man.
Exactly.
We've actually reached a point where just repeating their own statements back at them is funny. So
Yeah.
it's like you can't actually beat them.
Oh man, you know that reminds me of like Libs of TikTok. Like all she does is just literally post their own videos and
Yeah.
they get mad about it and they're like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't expose how crazy we are. How dare
Yeah.
you?
Yep.
How dare you repost that video that was already on TikTok? Yeah.
How dare you?
And add nothing to it, and make me look like a crazy person. Yeah, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And then Ben, what's
Hey,
up?
what's up? How much? You can follow me on Twitter at Benology and on YouTube for the same thing. I do want to release more content.
Yeah.
That is
Keep
absolutely
saying that.
planned.
You got
I know. I just
Yeah.
got to do it.
Yeah.
And then you can
That'd be a
find me
good
here on
place to
Saturdays
start.
and the Epic First podcast Mondays and Wednesdays, and then
Yes.
also on Thursdays for the Geeks and Gamers Advanced D&D campaign. So
Yep. Kept
it's
your
been,
ass from
it's
dying,
been pretty
so-
awesome so far.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. And yeah, make sure that you go check out Epicverse over on YouTube and on Twitter. We also have an Instagram now as well, so make sure that you go check that out because as we all know, we are all tired of Hollywood's woke agendas and everything else, which is why we created the entertainment company of Epicverse, where we will be focusing on making awesome stories and building community. So make sure that you check us out everywhere. We are everywhere. And yeah, we're following in Ripa's footsteps, and we aren't going to stop. So
Yeah.
with that being said, thank you so much, everyone, for coming out. We appreciate it. Huge shout out to Eric, Ripa.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, man. You
Sure.
are awesome, and I
course.
can't wait to see this continue to blow up. So with that being said, thank you so much, everyone, and have a great rest of your day. Bye.
So, yeah.
So, yeah.